transcending history and the world, a tale of soul and sword, eternally retold. This is my first PlayStation review, and there's no better way than to kick it off with Soul Blade, also known as Soul Edge in Japan. Soul Blade was released in 1997 for American consoles. It was developed by the legendary team Project Soul and published by Namco. When this game was released, it received widespread critical acclaim and won numerous awards. But here in the year 2014, does this classic still hold up? We'll take a look as we analyze graphics, audio, and of course, the gameplay. So to begin this view, let's talk about graphics. Since this game came out in 1997 for the PS1, those are the standards that we would be using. When this game came out, it was seen as a graphical revolution and really showcased the power of the PS1. The character models were very detailed and featured a lot of frames of animation for them. When it comes to the fighting, everything moves smooth as silk. This was one of the first games to use motion capture and it really shows. The way the fighters use their weapons is very natural and looks amazing. The stages look very detailed as well. The environments are very vivid and lively as well. Some of the best examples of when the environments and the stages look their best is in Soul Edge's stage, as you can see right here, and Sophitia's. Both push the hardware of the PS1 to its limits, and it looks fantastic as a result. The icing on the cake is this game runs very smooth. Very few times as I've played it has it ever slowed down. With all things considered, the graphics are simply amazing, and that's why it gets a 9 out of 10 for graphics. There are just a lot of good things to say. I mean, there are a few graphical hiccups here and there, and that's why it doesn't get the full 10 out of 10, but either way, this is a very good looking game for the time, especially for a PS1. Now comes to the audio, and here it's where I'm a little bit divided on. First, we will discuss what this game gets right. Every stage has its own song, as well as fitting into the environment that they are in. The music is very well done and is memorable. Along with the good music, the sounds are also very good. The sound of a sword being blocked, the sound of a blade hitting flesh, sounds great, and this game does a good job of making those sounds. The voices of each character are really good. The same, however, cannot be said about the announcer's voice. The announcer seems very uninterested and almost like he doesn't really care. Either way, the sound is decent enough. Even though the narrator just outright sucks, everything else in the sound department really excels. And that's why my final score for the audio is a 7.5 out of 10. As stated before, the music is excellent and the sound effects are great. The voices are pretty cool, and it's good to see them speak in their own native language. However, the announcer's voice is really poor and it really doesn't fit well into this game and its atmosphere. And now it's the gameplay. For those of you who have played any of the Soul Calibur titles would know how the fighting game engine works. For those of you that haven't, it's pretty simple. You have square for the horizontal attacks, triangle for the vertical attacks, circle for kicks, and X to guard. Using any combination of the attack buttons will result in different combos. The control scheme itself is very easy to learn. The controls feel very natural, and that's your first step on your way to creating a great fighting game. The game features about 10 characters from the start, with more being unlockable. Each are very unique in their own way. Each character differs when it comes to range, speed, and the way they attack. Characters like Siegfried and Rock are much slower, but have a longer range, while characters such as Li Long and Taki have shorter range and are faster as well. All these characters are very well balanced except for one. Cervantes is one of the most overpowered characters in the game. He doesn't excel in any particular field, but he has literally no weaknesses. He's quick, agile, has good damage, and has good range as well. When it comes to the fighting engine, there are a few more things I would like to discuss. One of them is the soul gauge, which you'll find right under the health bar. The meter helps you use critical edges and it goes down as you block. If it goes all the way down, you eventually lose your weapon and you have to continue the rest of the fight without it. This is pretty cool to me since it favors offensive gameplay instead of becoming a blocking fest. However, you can still win unarmed if you know what you're doing. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the clash system. Now this happens when two opponents hit their weapons together at the same time and in the same angle. It works kind of like rock, paper, scissors, as either square, triangle, or circle will result in a victory, tie, or loss. This is a pretty minor feature and isn't really prevalent in many of the battles. This game features a plethora of modes, but I just want to focus on the arcade mode for just a little bit. One of the most unique yet strangest additions to this game is the fact that there are actually alternative endings. When the game goes into full screen during the endings, you have to press a button. If you press this button or a combination of buttons, you get the good ending. My question though is, how the hell did people figure this out back in the day? There isn't any indicator, nor is there any hint given that you have to press a button to get an alternative ending. There's not even a hint that there are different endings. The only way I figured it out was going online to Game Facts or Game Winners, and they tell me what button to press when it goes full screen. Heck, I thought the full screen was just like a glitch or something, but I guess not. The only ending that appears to have two different results is Pow3rh0use's ending. For this one, you have to dodge a rifle by either pressing left or right, then pressing up, then pressing triangle to slash him. Having multiple endings is cool, but Namco should have gave us some sort of hint to know that these exist in the game. Soul Edge features a bunch of modes to choose from, including survival mode, versus mode, time attack mode, practice mode, and my favorite, team battle mode. However, there is one very unique mode that was created for this game, specifically for the PlayStation 1 version. This is known as Edgemaster mode. Edgemaster mode features a story for each of the initial 10 characters the game starts with, complete with their own missions and various weapons to collect. What I really love about this mode is how it fleshes out each of the characters, and it really helps to create the universe in Soul Blade. Each character has their own motivation and backstory on why they're trying to seek out Soul Edge. As you complete missions in Edgemaster mode, you unlock new weapons. Each weapon has its own stats and is unique in its own way. Some weapons specialize in destroying other weapons, some are faster, some are stronger in attack, some are stronger in defense. All these weapons vary and they give a sense of strategy when choosing the one right for you. The problem I have is within some of these missions. Not only is the AI very challenging, but some of these goals are ridiculous. In this one, I have to knock out Taki in less than 12 seconds using Siegfried. I love you, Siegfried, but you're slower than a box of potatoes. This mission took well more than just a few tries to beat.
You lose.
Another hard mission in the game is when you have to defeat Voldo using Siegfried with very little health. One mistake and you're done, since Siegfried loves to whiff. In the options menu, there are a bunch of things you can tune to your liking. You could change the difficulty, the ring size, the battle count, the life bar, the battle time, the weapon for the AI, the character change at continue, and how you select your character. But overall, the gameplay is very enjoyable. With a great fighting engine and a bunch of modes, this certainly earns an 8.5 out of 10 for gameplay. The fighting engine is great, and still to this day has a lot of depth. Heck, you could even argue that these older games have much more depth than the newer ones. All the modes in the game are very fun to play with, and even though Edgemaster mode does get aggravating at times, it's a fun experience and a good addition to the game. And now we have reached the closing thoughts. In conclusion, Soul Blade is one of those games that have aged gracefully throughout the years. To this day, it is still an enjoyable game, and there's a lot to like about it. The characters are awesome and badass in their own way. There's also a lot of replay value in this game since there's a bunch to unlock, such as new weapons and new characters. Overall, this is a very enjoyable experience and gets better the more you play it. With all things considered, I'll give this game a 9 out of 10. It was a great game back in the day and it's still a great game now. If you're a fan of fighting games, this is certainly a great one to add to your collection. I also recommend it to gamers looking for a great game to play. Thank you guys for watching, and this is Pow3rh0use signing off.
The grueling battle ends with the victory of Taki. You win!